Hola! Hello there, welcome to our Spanish lesson today. Just to start with, you're going to need some equipment to help you with your learning today. You're going to need some paper. So pause the video while you go and fetch some paper and then press play when you're ready to continue. To start us off today, we're going to be practicing those names of the animals that we find in cave paintings and also just having another practice of how we put colours with them. Do you remember last week we met Pedro? He said, Me llamo Pedro, tengo 9 años, vivo en Altamira. Can you remember what he was telling us about himself? What was the first line? Me llamo Pedro. That's right, my name is Pedro. Then he said, tengo 9 años. What did that mean? That's right, I am 9 years old. Then he said, vivo en Altamira. Can you remember what that was? That's right, I live in Altamira. And we had a look at a map, didn't we, to see where Altamira is. It's on the north coast of Spain, which is the green bit, because the brown bits are France in the north and Portugal in the west. The red dot shows where Altamira is. Next, he said, con mi familia hago pinturas en una cueva. Can you remember what he was telling us there? We noticed, didn't we, that there are some words quite like English to help us. Can you remember? Con mi familia, with my family. Hago pinturas, I make paintings. En una cueva, in a cave. And you can see some examples of the paintings that they've made in the cave. Finally, he said, utilizo rojo, amarillo, negro y marrón. What was he telling us about there? Utilizo rojo, amarillo, negro y marrón. I use red, yellow, black and brown. Can you remember why he only had those 4 colours to use? That's right, because Stone Age people had to make paint with anything that they could find in nature, like plants and rocks. Let's have a quick practice then of the 8 animals that we have been looking at. Escuchad y repetid. Un oso, un oso. Un bisonte, un bisonte. Un toro, un toro. Una cabra, una cabra. Un caballo, un caballo. Un mamut, un mamut. Un búho, un búho. Un rinoceronte, un rinoceronte. And there's the 8 of them in our grid. Let's just have one more practice. Escuchad y repetid. Un oso, un bisonte, un toro, una cabra, un caballo, un mamut, un búho, un rinoceronte. Now, let's put some colours with those animals. And can you remember how we can do a description of the colour that the animal is using de color and then putting the colour on the end? Let's have a go. So first of all, we want to say a bear of the colour brown. So how will we do that? A bear of the colour brown. Un oso de color marrón. Un oso de color marrón, a bear of the color brown. The next one is the bison, isn't it? He's black. How would we say a bison of the color black? Can you work that one out? Un bisonte de color negro. Good. Then we have the bull. He's red. How do we say a bull of the color red? Have you got it? Un toro de color rojo. And the last one on that one is a goat of the color brown. A goat of the color brown. How will we say that one? Una cabra de color marrón. Let's have a look at the other column. First of all, we've got a horse. The horse is yellow. So how do we say a horse of the color yellow? Un caballo de color amarillo. Un caballo de color amarillo. Next is the mammoth. The mammoth is red. So how would we say a mammoth of the color red? Can you work it out? A mammoth of the color red. Un mamut de color rojo. Un mamut de color rojo. The next one is the owl. He's yellow. How do we say an owl of the color yellow? Un búho de color amarillo. Un búho de color amarillo. And finally, there's the rhinoceros. He's black. So we need to say a rhinoceros of the color black. How are we going to do that? Have you worked it out? It's a long word, the first one, isn't it? Un rinoceronte de color negro. Very good. If you want to see some more of the cave paintings in Altamira, by the way, if you have a look on their website, they've got a really good video that explains all about it and shows you the paintings as well. So if you want to pause the video and write down this website, that'll take you to a video all about the caves at Altamira. Now we're coming on to something different. What we're going to do is we're going to be listening carefully, first of all, to some Spanish vowel sounds. And we're then going to be working out whether some new nouns are masculine or feminine. This is something completely new. More about it in just a little while. First of all, let's practice our vowel sounds. The vowels, remember, are A, E, I, O, and U, but they don't sound like that in Spanish. In fact, in Spanish, they only have one sound each, and if you can master that one sound, you'll get it right every time. Por favor, escuchad y repetid. A, A, E, E, I, I, O, O, U, U. Let's try them all in a line. A, E, I, O, U. Once more. A, E, I, O, U. Well done. Now, the next bit is what you have your paper for. What you need to do is to take 4 little bits of paper, so you may need to do some cutting, and write the vowels, one each, on each of the pieces of paper. So you're going to have one piece of paper with A, one with E, one with I, one with O, and one with U. So pause the video to do that, and then press play again when you're ready to continue. So, do you have your vowel cards in front of you? Are they in order? A, E, I, O, U. Now it's time to use them. You're going to see some new Spanish words with the vowels missing. You need to listen really, really carefully and hold up the vowels that you think you need to put into the spaces in the word. Here's the first one. Una aguja. Una aguja. Una aguja. Which vowels do you think need to go into this word? Una aguja. Let's have a look. Aguja. Una aguja. Let's go on to the next one. Un arco. Un arco. Which vowels are missing from that one? Un arco. Have you worked it out? Un arco. Un arco. Un arco. Next one. Un arpón. Un arpón. Un arpón. Which vowels are missing from that word? Un arpón. Let's see. Un arpón. Un arpón. The next one is un bifaz. Un bifaz. Un bifaz. Which vowels are missing from that one? Un bifaz. Un bifaz. Here's another one. Oh, this has got 3 vowels missing. Even more careful listening. Here it is. Un cuchillo. Un cuchillo. Un cuchillo. Un cuchillo. So 3 vowels missing from this one. Let's see which ones you've got. Un cuchillo. Un cuchillo. And how about this one? Una flecha. Una flecha. Una flecha. 2 vowels missing from this one again. Let's see which they are. Una flecha. And here's another one. Una lanza. Una lanza. Una lanza. Which vowels are missing from there? Una lanza. Let's see. Una lanza. We have one more. Un raspador. Un raspador. Un raspador. I'll say it one more time for you. Have you got 3 vowels there? Un raspador. So, un raspador. Un raspador. Let's have another look then at those tools and talk a little bit about them, what they are and what they might have been made of, and also how we can remember them by linking them to English words. So the first one is una aguja. And can you guess what that one is? That's right, it's a needle. Can you guess what Stone Age man might have made his needle with? That's right, he made it out of bone. That's why it is a yellowy white colour. The next one is un arco. Un arco. What's one of those? That's it. It's a bow, as in bow and arrow. And can you see how the word arco is like an arc in English? And that helps us to remember it because of the shape. The main bit of the bow would have been made of wood and the string probably out of animal guts. Then we had un arpón. Un arpón. Any ideas what un arpón is? The English word's quite similar actually. Have you got it? It's a harpoon. A harpoon. Do you know what a harpoon is used for? It's usually used for catching fish. And the pointy bits on the top are called barbs, and they stick into whatever you stick your harpoon into, and the barbs stop it from coming off again. Now, the next one, un bifath, is the very first tool that Stone Age man learned to make. Un bifath. It's called a hand axe, and it's hand size, and it's called a bifath because it has two faces or two sides. So we know that bi is two, like in bicycle, having two wheels, and the fath part is face. So a bifath is a two-face, it's a two-sided tool. And this would have been made out of a stone called flint, and they used to get a hard stone and knock the flint, and as you knock the flint with a harder stone, flakes of it fall off, and it leaves a very sharp edge that you can see here. The next tool is un cuchillo. Un cuchillo. What do you think that is? That's right, it's a knife, and the blade part was made of flint also. And here's another one, una flecha. Una flecha. Do you know what one of those is? It's an arrow to use with your bow. Now, did you know that we have some words in English connected to arrows that are very like flecha? For example, the little feathers that you put on the end of an arrow are called fletchings. As well, the person who used to make the arrows in olden times was called the fletcher. So if you know somebody who has the second name Fletcher, that means that their ancestors used to make arrows. The next one, una lanza. Una lanza. What do you think one of those is? Una lanza is a spear. So we have a word in English, don't we? Lance, which is connected to spear. And that last one is un raspador. Un raspador. Now, these were a lot smaller than hand axes, probably about this size, also made of flint with a sharp edge, and it's a scraper. They used to use it to clean the animal skins before they made them into clothes or even shelters. They had to scrape all the stuff off the inside to leave just the skin. So a raspador is a scraper. And if you think of when your throat is a bit sore and scratchy, that's called a raspy throat. So we have a connection to English there as well to help us remember. So here are all 8 of our tools. Let's just have another go of saying those. And here is Miki to help us, and he'll know which one we're saying. Por favor, escuchad y repetid. Una aguja. Un bifaz. Una lanza. Un arco. Un cuchillo. Un arpón. Una flecha. Un raspador. Thank you, Miki. Now, have you noticed that some of these words are red and some of these words are blue? Thinking about the red ones, first of all, there they are. Can you spot anything that all of these red words have in common? Yes, they all have una in front, and una means a or an, can mean the number one as well. Can you spot anything else that these three words have in common? Yes, they all end in a. We have aguja, lanza, and flecha. So the red words all have una before them and they all end in a. If we have a look at the blue words, there's all the blue words there. Can you spot anything that they have in common? That's right. They all start with un, and un means a or an, or sometimes the number one. Now, two of them end in the same letter. Which two do you think I mean? That's right. Arco and cuchillo. They both end in an o. The other three are a little bit more unusual because they end in different letters. They end in consonants. Now, what we've got here is two different groups of words. The blue words that start with un and often end in o are called masculine words, and the red words that have una before them and often end in a, they are called feminine words. Now, in Spanish, every single noun, so the name of a person, a place, a thing, or an idea, every single noun is either masculine or feminine. They're just the name for two groups, really. They could be called A words and B words. They could be called tree words and flower words. They could be called green words and yellow words. But they just needed some names to describe the two groups. And the reason that they use masculine and feminine is because all male people and animals are in the masculine group, and all female people and animals are in the feminine group. Now, masculine nouns and feminine nouns behave in a slightly different way, as we can see. Masculine ones use un, feminine ones use una. Sometimes it's easy to see which is which by the a or the o. Sometimes it's not easy to tell which is which, and we have to use a dictionary. And this is something, of course, that we just don't use in English, really, although occasionally we give transports a she pronoun, don't we? God bless her and all who sail in her, says the Queen when she launches a ship. So Spanish has two groups for nouns, masculine ones and feminine ones. And what we have to do is we have to learn how to spot which is which. So we've seen then that there are masculine nouns and feminine nouns. Masculine nouns have un in front of them. Feminine nouns have una in front of them. Feminine nouns often end in an a, and masculine nouns often end with an o. Does that remind you of any other words that we've seen, maybe at the very beginning of year 3? We noticed it in Spanish names, didn't we? The boys' names like Fernando and Guillermo ended in o. The girls' names like Maria and Teresa ended in a, didn't they? That'll help us to remember. Let's have a look at some words that you've never seen before. Here we are. And let's see if we can work out whether they are masculine or feminine. So the first one says una historia. That's the word for a story. It can be the word for history as well. Una historia. Una historia. Do you think that's masculine or feminine? Think about the reason why as well. Which one do you think? That's right, it's feminine because it has una and it ends with an a. The next one is un museo, the word for a museum. Un museo. Is that masculine or feminine, do you think? Have you worked it out? It's masculine because it starts with un and it has an o on the end. The next one is una biblioteca. Una biblioteca. Is that a masculine word or a feminine word, do you think? A masculine word or a feminine word? You worked it out? It's feminine because it starts with una and it ends in a. The next one is un dibujo. Un dibujo. That's the word for a drawing. Un dibujo. Is that masculine or feminine, do you think? Let's see if you're right. It's masculine because it has un and then it has an o on the end. The next one is una visita. Una visita, a visit. Una visita. What do you think? Masculine or feminine? It's feminine because it has una and then it has an a on the end. The next one is un tesoro. Un tesoro. Un tesoro. What do you think? Masculine or feminine, that one? Let's see. It's masculine because it has un and then it has an o on the end. Next to that one is un objeto. Un objeto, the word for an object. Un objeto. Is that masculine or feminine? Let's see if you're right. It's masculine because it has un and then it has an o on the end. And the last one is un regalo. Un regalo. Un regalo. What do you think? Masculine or feminine, that one? Let's see if you're right. It's masculine because it has un at the front and it has o on the end. So we've sorted those new words into masculine and feminine by looking for the clues. We've looked for the un or una, the word for a, in front. And we've also looked at the letters on the end. Is there an o on the end for masculine? Is there an a on the end for feminine? Now, what you need to remember is we're not really saying, for example, that a present is a boy. We're not saying it's masculine like that. We're just saying it belongs to this group of words called masculine words, and they behave in a certain way, particularly when we come to describing them. So, just to recap, there are two groups of nouns. In Spanish, remember, nouns are persons, places, things, or ideas, and they are called masculine and feminine. Masculine words have un in front of them. Feminine words have una in front of them. Feminine words often end with an a, and masculine words often end with an o. Excelente! You've worked really hard. This whole masculine and feminine thing is tricky because we don't have it in English, but it's super important when you're learning Spanish. Has trabajado bien hoy. Adios! See you next time.